This week, we continue a series on the biggest nutrition myths and tell you why calories in, calories out, otherwise known as
CICO,
is BS. We're also going to check in and see if I'm any less fat. Let's get into it. Hey, everybody.
That intro's perfect length. Because most of the podcasts I listen to, I'm like 15 seconds forward, and I'm like, nah.
Or like Joe Rogan, there's
hello, friends.
There's 6 minutes
That's
of
when I know to tick, click, click, click.
7-8 minutes of ads before he gets into the content.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm hitting that thing like a snare drum.
Oh, yeah. It is. Sorry, Joe. I know he's listening.
He's one of our dozens of listeners.
Joe Rogan listens to Fit and Furious for show prep.
That's right. All right, welcome to week 3, everybody.
3?
So, yeah, I know.
Jeepers.
3 in a row. It's crazy. So this
Still
week
here.
we're going to... Sorry, go ahead.
Still here?
Still here, baby. That's right. And getting less fat every week.
We'll
get
find
into
out.
that. We're going to find out. The tape don't lie.
Nope.
I thought about that tape all week. It stopped me a lot, though. I'll tell you that. The thought of the tape and you putting the tape around my belly stopped me a lot of times this week.
Accountability.
Accountability. It's huge.
People don't hire me to tell them to eat chicken and broccoli. They hire me because they know I'm going to call them on Friday and go, dude, what's up?
Exactly. Yep, that's huge, man. All right. So this week we're continuing on our nutrition myths series, and one of the biggest ones out there is, what'd you call it, CICO?
CICO.
So that stands for calories in, calories out. Basically states that all you have to do is operate in a caloric deficit and you'll lose weight. Right?
Which you do.
Right.
But saying, how did you lose all that weight?
Mm-hmm.
I was just in a caloric deficit. Is like saying Jeff Bezos is the richest man on the planet because he just made more money than he spent. Really? Sherlock? That's it?
Yes. The way I look at calories in, calories out is it's just kind of a thing people say. It's kind of a cliche, but it doesn't really actually help anyone because
it doesn't paint a picture at all.
It doesn't paint a picture, and it doesn't qualify the process of practically how to actually get there in a way that you're going to be successful at long term. So while we're going to say calories in, calories out is bullshit, we're going to say it's technically true, but it needs a lot of understanding and explanation.
There is a shit ton of context that goes around that.
Right. So calories do matter, and a calorie is not a calorie is not a calorie. They're not all equal.
It's just a unit of measurement.
Right. So let's talk about, you've said this to me, and this is calories in, calories out is something I had to kind of talk myself back into, because when I kind of got in the keto carnivore space, people get into it and they say, oh, you just stuff your face with ribeyes nonstop and you'll drop weight. Well, that might be true if you're coming off the standard American diet and
initially,
and you fill yourself up with ribeyes.
Yep.
But you can gain weight on carnivore eating just pure ribeyes.
If you're in a calorie surplus,
exactly,
you're going to gain fat. So
it's something you do have to be aware of, even if you're eating the right, in quote, right things. But to me, that the food choice and what type of calorie is really the key.
Well, and I know you have Oreos and steak written down.
Yes.
Back to a calorie is a calorie.
Yeah.
That analogy I just told you a little bit ago.
Yep.
A calorie is a unit of measurement. So a calorie in measurement is a calorie. But just like a mile is a mile. If you ran a mile on an indoor track at Concordia.
Yep.
And ran as fast as you can.
Easy 12-minute mile.
Are you walking? and then I go outside and run uphill in the North Dakota wind in mud for a mile.
It's 1 degree today.
And it's 1 degree.
Yeah.
You think I'm going to come back and say, yeah, that mile was just like yours.
Yep. Exactly.
No, that's stupid.
Right.
Just like a calorie is never just a calorie.
Exactly. So where people screw up is they think calories in, calories out. As long as I'm burning more calories than I'm taking in, I'm going to lose weight. Okay. Now, we're going to get into kind of an explanation here about how you have to think about all this. Let's just say for round numbers, what an average, my size human would burn in a day, and or take in a day. You always hear about people talking about 2,000 calories, 1,000 calories, 1,500. Let's just say 1,500 is kind of a normal amount that someone takes in.
Okay, so you mentioned Nutrisystem before.
Right.
Nutrisystem, it's all about calories in, calories out. So let's just say you were, excuse me, you were 1,500 calories.
That I was taking in?
That you take in, that you normally take in.
Okay.
That's your TDEE, or your total daily energy expenditure.
All right.
It's another fancy acronym.
Yep.
You can Google it.
TDEE. Got it.
You can Google it. I didn't make it up. So if your total daily energy expenditure is 1,500 calories, you need to be, and you want to lose 2 pounds a week.
Right.
I'm sorry, a pound a week.
Okay.
You will cut 500 calories a day. So you will be in a 500 calorie deficit every single day. That's
Right.
3,500 calories at the end of the week. 3,500 calories equals 1 pound.
Okay. So I would need to basically take in 1,000 if I'm burning 1,500.
Sure.
In order to drop a
Yeah,
pound a
your net,
week.
your net for the day, you need to consume 1,000 calories without factoring in exercise,
Right.
which you shouldn't do anyways. But that's another show.
So this all leads us to what's called the
So what we need to establish from that point is your basal metabolic rate, because here's where people get tripped up.
basal metabolic rate. Google that.
Your basal metabolic rate is how many calories do you burn if you woke up in the morning, leaned over, not even leaned over, just woke up in the morning, opened your eyes, and blinked for the entire day, and then just went back to bed.
So just laying there at rest, that's your basal metabolic
Yes.
rate. So that's what your body's going to burn on its own,
Correct.
even if you're pretty much like in a coma or
Doing
something.
nothing. Yeah, no, pretty much exactly. Like if
Okay.
you were in a coma, that's what you would burn at that lean body mass.
Right.
So let's just say if on 1,500 calories ballpark, your basal metabolic rate's 1120 ballpark.
Okay.
So as you lose weight, your expenditure becomes less because you're not carrying around that weight. So now your BMR goes down. So guess what? Now that 500
And that's your
calories,
body's way of compensating because it's
Right.
thinking calories are scarce. I need to burn less to conserve this.
well, and I just don't need as much energy to walk to your car at the mall. 'Cause
right.
You
It's,
weigh less.
it's adapting.
Right.
Your body's adapting.
So what happens is remember that 500 calories that
Mm-hmm.
puts you in a deficit? You're not in a deficit anymore.
right. Because your body's adjusting your basal metabolic rate lower
Correct.
with less intake.
Correct. So now what happens?
You're not in a deficit anymore.
Cut
You
it
can't lose
again.
weight. You
No,
can't lose
cut
weight.
it again. Cut it again. Cut it again.
Down to
Cut it
800.
again. You're down to 800 calories a day and you're not losing an ounce.
And then what are you doing? You're suffering.
You're chasing
hard.
your tail. Right.
You're suffering hard
Right.
because try eating 800 calories a day,
You're
700 calories a day.
splitting up a Nutrisystem meal between 4 people.
You're just,
No.
you're suffering. So
The solution? Lift weights.
So then the solution is if your basal metabolic rate drops with less intake, then how do you raise that basal metabolic rate? That's the key.
By increasing your lean body mass, which is lifting heavy stuff and putting it down.
So so then basically working out, that's how you
Right.
get it up. Now, can you do it with cardiovascular exercise or just
No, not really, because when you're lifting, you're developing muscle in a. I'm not a kinesiologist, sorry, but you're in a anaerobic state. When
So-
you're lifting versus an aerobic state.
so really you need the muscle mass. That's what's
Yes.
going to burn the
Correct.
calories
The
at
lean
rest.
body mass. Yep, which is muscle.
Okay. So that's why all these diets, and just as a little aside here, I was going to look at one of these examples. So let's go to our browser here. So here's Nutrisystem. This is one of the, and there's tons of these, especially now it's, January. You see these every year. People trying to, these companies trying to capitalize on the New Year's resolution. What's everyone's number one New Year's resolution?
Lose 119 pounds in 11 days.
Kind
Safely.
Safely, yes. That's about how likely that is. So let's look at Nutrisystem here. Basically, they're trying to.
That's what some people don't understand that too. And I'm trying not to squirrel because I got a lot of feedback last week and the week before that I squirrel a lot, but I do.
Hey,
And
It's
that
you.
is 2 pounds a week is stupid aggressive.
that's aggressive.
It is.
Yep.
We just talked about the deficit. You need to be in 1,000 calorie a day deficit.
I lost 7 last week, so I guess I call that amateur level.
That's what I called it. Where's this one? Yeah,
So Nutrisystem and all these not fad, but just these diets that capitalize on people's New Year's resolutions. I mean, look at this. Supreme Pizza Bowl, red flatbread, cinnamon brown sugar oat square. I mean, you're telling me you're going to eat that and that's going to be your route to weight loss? Frozen cinnamon rolls, buttermilk waffles.
You know who Brian Regan is?
Yes.
The comedian. Mm-hmm. Remember his bit when he was looking at nutritional facts on the back of stuff and he's looking at Fig Newtons? And he's like, well, what is this recommended serving size? And he looks in the back and it says, 2 cookies. He goes, 2 cookies? When the hell eats 2 cookies? Who eats 2 Fig Newtons and goes, oh my God, I'm stuffed to the rafters. I'm so satisfied. No, nobody does that.
He understood what was going on.
Right.
But look at this, burgers, pepperoni pizza melt. I mean, they're just trying to appeal to people that do not want to actually make a real change.
No.
They're just saying, all they're doing is saying, because they typically work on points, right? So this food is X amount of points, then you get so many points a day. So it's just their way of dumbing down and saying, limit your calories, caloric restriction. That's look at this. Frozen vanilla ice cream sandwich.
But guess what we're not addressing?
Tell me.
We're not addressing the reason why people overeat those foods. You're not going to address the food addiction or the addiction to hyperpalatable foods by only having less of them. We talked about it week 1.
You're going to suffer the entire time you're on this diet. You're just going to be, your cravings are going to be through the roof. You're going to be saying, oh my God, I can't wait till I can have my next vanilla ice cream sandwich.
For some people.
Yeah.
There's people who jump on Nutrisystem and lots of football players. And they lose a ton of weight and they keep it off and it works.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, if it works for you, good. But
if I've said it once, I'll say it again. I'll say it 1,000,000 times. If you pick a diet, you become healthy, all your biomarkers are perfect, your vitals are rock solid, you go do a metabolic cart, and you pass everything with flying colors.
Yep.
Then that's your diet.
Right.
Rock on.
Rock on.
But I challenge you that you are all those things.
Right. And there's a way to do it where you're not going to be suffering as mightily as you will, restricting yourself calorically, but yet having all these foods that still trigger all these cravings and are hyperpalatable and make you want to. Who wants to eat one of these? I mean, I want to eat like 5 of these vanilla ice cream sandwiches, and then you're saying
5 boxes.
I got to eat.
I could crush those.
Right. I mean, they're just appealing to the people that want to lose weight without really changing what they're putting in their mouth.
I used to always joke, like my wife would ask me if I want a chocolate sandwich, and I'd say, yeah, grab me like 3. She goes, well, Trevor, I only need 1, and I'm 1. You know what that'll do? Just piss me off.
Just piss me off.
Seriously.
Oh, hell yeah. And, there's a reason these companies are around. It's not because everybody lost weight and they're successful. It's because they try this every January. They get a bunch of subscribers.
Yep.
They get on it for a few weeks, fail miserably,
and they want you back.
Go right back to your old diet, gain all the weight back, and then next January you're resubscribing again.
We'll be here waiting with our cinnamon brown square oats or whatever the hell those are.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to eat cinnamon brown sugar oat squares and expect to lose weight. So that gets into the whole thing about a calorie is not a calorie is not a calorie. So let's say your basal metabolic rate is established. So we know that one of the main ways to actually lose weight is to raise that, and that's by lifting weights, getting more lean muscle mass. So we need to raise our basal metabolic rate. We understand that. Now let's tackle the other side, the intake. So either way, even no matter what your basal metabolic rate is, you still need to operate at a caloric deficit. So let's talk about how to do that successfully. Can I drink 1,500 calories of Mountain Dew every day?
Diet.
Calories.
Right.
But the people that tout the calories in, calories out, and just kind of throw it out there like, I'm sorry.
Calories
in, calories
out.
You're
saying your entire diet was Mountain Dew.
Yeah, 1,500 calories worth of Mountain Dew versus 1,500 calories of steak.
Sure, but your pancreas is going to shut down.
Right. So there's ways to do it and ways to do it in the optimal manner. And for me, it's Animal products, specifically, steak, beef, those are the kind of things that fill me up. And we're going to get into satiety per calorie as a way to successfully limit your intake without suffering. But it reminds me of the book Good Calories, Bad Calories by Gary Taubes. That's when I first had the light bulb over the head moment that a calorie is not a calorie, not a calorie. There's a picture. I remember the picture on the book cover. It's a piece of toast with butter on it.
Did I tell the story of how a calorie became to be? Did I do that week?
Enlighten us.
I'll tell it again.
I'm going to find this book
I'm
cover.
notorious for telling the story more than once. It's just all the same experiences. They're just that much more fun when I tell them 10 times. Anyways, I forget the exact date, 17th century, something like that. But anyways, they actually put a food in an oven and baked it and burned it. And as it burnt and got used up, like it was in your stomach,
Right.
they measured the heat.
Right. So,
And how much heat it produced was how many calories it had. That particular food. That's kind of cool. I mean, obviously it evolved.
Right.
And now it's how much it takes to boil a liter of water and whatever. But, dude, that's great if we all had the same furnace.
Exactly.
We don't all have the same oven. There's absorption rate. There's just so many things that go into once you consume a food, how much of it are you absorbing?
Right.
How much is going out as waste? How much is going out? If we both ate the same donut right now, I'm going to absorb nutrients different than you will.
Oh, yeah.
So how can we just say, we just have 600 calories.
Especially
Now we need to burn 600 calories.
Yeah, because activity level and your basal metabolic rate, how much lean mass you have is different than I do. I think you have less lean body mass than me, but
you can
whatever.
see on video.
Yeah, we won't measure that just to confirm. We'll just assume that I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, your activity level too. All these things factor in. I'm going to show you this. Yeah, so here's the book cover: Good Calories, Bad Calories.
That's my example right there for when I tell people pick your fuel. Bread, butter.
Exactly.
Bread's fine. Butter's fine. Bread and butter together are bad.
Right.
Pick your fuel.
And this book goes into great, overly detailed scientific, granular detail about calories. He's very scientific. He's an amazing researcher.
But the problem with social media and zealots,
Right.
they're out there. Jordan Syatt, Lane Norton. The problem is they will just get fixated on who Gary is.
Right.
He's just a journalist.
Yeah.
So he's not stupid. He just followed the science.
He's not stupid at all. I mean, he researches every book he does. He researches them for years.
So I have a PhD in nutrition. So you're a good memorizer. Congratulations. I'm happy for you.
Right. Exactly. So
What's that Will Hunting when he says, you wasted $100,000 on education you could have got for $1.50 in late charges at the public library.
he's a wicked smat. So let's keep going on the intake side. So if you're taking
again,
in,
didn't I?
you squirreled again. So if you squirrel Will hunting, but you went hunting squirrel, Goodwill hunting squirrels.
There you go.
So let's talk about the intake side. So how do you decide what you're going to put in your body based on the calories in, calories out, and applying that theory accurately? If you know you need to operate in a caloric deficit, what's the best way to do that successfully without suffering and getting the proper nutrients, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
Satiety.
Satiety. That's the key. And satiety means how quickly am I full and am I satisfied?
Satisfied. I had a gal tell me, she goes, "Oh, I see you have your keto group. That looks really fun. I tried keto once, but I was never hungry, and I like to eat." Sweet. That's solid logic.
What does that even mean?
She likes to eat. She wants to eat. She didn't like the fact that her body said, "Nah, you're good. Cut it off."
She just likes to keep going and going.
I just come home. She'd come home from work, and it would be 6 o'clock and dinner time.
Well,
and she'd go, "That doesn't even look good. Pasta doesn't look good."
She was full.
Because she was not hungry.
she was
Her body's
satisfied,
going,
right?
"We're good."
Well, that's another whole nother episode, and we'll definitely talk about this. But the normal human, normal American diet is you're eating three. Well, I remember when it was recommended eat 7 times a day. Just cut up, eat smaller portions 7 times a day, like you said a couple weeks ago. Like you're on a rat on a steady IV drip or something.
Right.
And
or you're that gym bro, the douche from the gym carrying around the Tupperware containers. I got to eat every 44 minutes.
Right.
He carries the empty milk jug around. And
you're not giving your body any time to burn off that excess fat store that it already has, and it's completely fine with using as an energy source, especially if you have extra weight, like somebody in the room here who will not be named.
I'm right here.
Your body has that excess fat. Unless you're incredibly lean, you can go a really long time without putting more calories in. So keeping on the calories in, calories out. So we're talking about satiety. That's really the key to this whole thing. And there's a really good...
And what is satiety?
What is satiety? So that is
basically the release of the hunger hormone ghrelin, or leptin, sorry.
Leptin, okay.
Yep.
See, I don't even know what that is. Now, that's when your body reaches a certain point.
Leptin sends a signal to your brain that says, we're done.
Okay.
We're out. We don't need any food. We're good. And then when the opposite is ghrelin. And
that's when this says more.
Yeah. And
Doritos.
When I was studying that, how I'd always remember is ghrelin in your body, your stomach would growl.
Are Doritos made 100% of ghrelin?
No, but sometimes I think cortisol is.
Oh, my
because
God.
that's the fight or flight hormone.
Oh, yeah.
And that the fight or flight hormone tells our body that we're going to either have to kick someone's ass or they're way bigger and we're going to have to run.
Right.
So either way, we need energy. So what are we going to do? Store it.
Store it.
We're going to store it. Fight or flight hormones. We got to build up that energy and just wait for it to burst.
So, yeah.
And then when we don't fight or run, we'll store it.
So stress is a big part of this too, right?
Huge. When people say I'm stress eating, they're stress eating. It's not a scapegoat. It's not an excuse for people who struggle with weight. They're not making an excuse. Mm-hmm. They're stress eating, and it's biological.
And sleep.
Leave those people alone.
Sleep too.
So unbelievable.
Yep.
Lack of sleep is causing stress.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So your cortisol goes to the roof, and I hate to see the people who suffer from insomnia and what their cortisol is in the morning.
Oh my God.
Brutal.
All right, so a guy that really focuses on the satiety per calorie. So that's really the key. If you want to get yourself into...
This guy's smart AF, by the way.
Yeah, Ted Naiman is his name. And if you want to get yourself in a caloric deficit in a way that you're not suffering the entire time, you need to increase your satiety per calorie. And I can't summarize it any better than he does right here. Getting thinner or fatter comes down to satiety per calorie. Everyone eats to satiety, and weight gain or loss depends on how many calories accompanied that satiety. Protein and fiber improve satiety per calorie, and refinement of carbs and fats, especially together, worsen it. That's the point.
Where'd you hear that?
You just said that about the bread and the butter.
Pick a few.
Pick a fuel. So here's a really good chart that kind of details the satiety per calorie concept, and highly recommend Ted Naiman. He's been on a ton of podcasts. He's got a book called the PE diet, when it's protein energy diet. So his main thesis is concentrate on protein and then pick an energy source, pick a fuel, like you said. And he almost doesn't care.
No,
if it's...
I don't either.
Yeah.
I pick a fuel. Just pick one. And then when you do pick one, use it to fuel activity.
Right. And control that ratio.
Right.
The ratio between the protein and the energy. So
bingo.
So like here's a chart.
Super smart.
Yes, super freaking smart.
When he says all the stuff that I say.
Yep. You said what a doctor said.
Or I repeated what a doctor said.
Exactly.
I just remembered it.
So let's look here at the high end. Good things to eat. So he's got some, looks like salmon, asparagus, steak, eggs.
Salmon with butter.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. It's unidentified substance. And the satiety per calorie drops here. Refined carbs and fats are very low. That's like pasta. Looks like some types of cheeses or something. And then look at this below the line. So this would indicate negative satiety per calorie. You got pizza and donuts.
Where did I hear that? Carbs don't make you fat. They make you
Hungrier.
hungry.
This is the Doritos theory or the Oreos theory. That's why people say you can't, once you pop, you can't stop. That's Pringles, right? Whatever. It's all the same.
All of it, right?
It's all the same shit. If you eat, I challenge you to eat 6 Doritos. No human in history has ever done that. If you do, I'm going to call Guinness because they're going to show up and give you a plaque. It cannot be done.
Or punch you for lying. Liar. Sinner.
So these carbs and fats combined actually have negative satiety per calorie, meaning you're just going to pile on more and more and stuff yourself like the Civil War musket.
It's, for example, if they bring donuts to work and you're like, piss on it, I'll have one, which I rarely do. People, I get made fun of, but whatever.
Yeah.
Make fun of me, I don't care. But in the past, I have had one. It's a legitimate celebration. Like if somebody I'm close to at work retires, or I'll have if you retired, I'd have a donut with you.
Okay.
But that one makes me pass that box of donuts like 14 times. It's like, I could work out again later.
Yeah, it's like a crack. It's like a crack
Slippery
addict.
slope.
That's what we're talking about. It triggers the same dopamine receptors and all this stuff in your brain. Same as crack, same as cocaine. I mean, it's just as addictive. In my mind, it's 100% that way.
It's not addiction. It's just a bad habit.
True.
Shut up.
Crack is a bad habit.
Right.
Oreos are an addiction.
Yep. Right.
So the satiety per calorie, that's really the key. So we got, all the way from negative satiety per calorie. So if you're...
How many hearts are broken right now seeing that piece of pizza?
Yeah. Well, if you're on Nutrisystem, guess what? You're going to eat that piece of pizza and that they give you, which is, it's always some weird, like low fat, suck ass pizza anyways.
Oh, yeah.
It's never
like
good.
Cardboard, no.
It's like just freaking eat Pizza Hut.
Right.
If you're going to calorically restrict, at least eat something that tastes good.
Or just order Pizza Hut and eat the top. Throw the crust away.
Or if you want it to be like Nutrisystem, just eat the box that it came in.
Right. But to your point, you're right. I mean, you're going to eat that, and then you're going to go, it's like, oh, God, I need more. I'm starving.
The beast has been awoken. Yeah, you're just going to go nuts.
And I got 4 more hours to my next 3 bites.
And, I'm doing OMAD right now, a version of intermittent fasting, 1 meal a day. So I'm going 23 hours without eating. And because of what I'm eating, because I'm eating in the high satiety per calorie category, I'm not suffering. I'm fine.
You're not suffering. But when I tell people I intermittent fast, they say, well, for how long? And I say 18-6. What's that? 18 hours
fasting,
fast,
6
and then I
eating
break,
window.
and I have a 6-hour eating window.
And just explain what intermittent fasting is. It's when you're not eating your 3 meals a day, basically. I do OMAD, which is 1 meal a day.
Yeah.
He's saying
intermittent fasting technically is like a 48-hour or longer fast every couple months or a quarter.
I thought it was just daily too. Like
we're doing 16/8,
right.
18/6. That's time restricted feeding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
time restricted feeding. So that means you got 18 hours where nothing goes in except liquids or water.
And the reason they call
6 hours you're eating.
And the reason that shift in the description from intermittent fasting to time restricted feeding is that there's some growing trends and there's getting some steam behind the research that's discovering that it's not really fasting.
Right.
You're not,
because it's not long enough.
There's not long enough, and people are drinking coffee and diet pop, which triggers
what?
Coffee and diet pop. So
with
what
cream in it, by the way. I got a story about this later.
All right. Yeah, that's not really fast.
I'm in my eating window right now.
Oh, right.
You lay off me, buddy.
On. But anyways, the point of the story is, if you're Dr. Rhonda Patrick, another smart one, write that name down. She talks about as soon as you have black coffee in the morning during your fast, you're triggering certain mechanisms in your liver that are beginning the metabolic process. And as soon as you do that, the fast is over.
So that fasting is...
And as soon as you begin that metabolic function, your fast ends and there's no chance of autophagy.
Okay.
Which is just a fancy name for cellular repair.
Autophagy, so that's cellular repair. What do they call fat loss? Is there a fancy term for that? Burning. That's what I always thought autophagy was.
Nope. So it's autophagy is just it's cellular repair.
Okay.
Fancy name for it.
And that's one of the reasons I think why people, it's almost counterintuitive, and we'll do, I'm sure, many episodes on fasting specifically, but people report that they feel better and, injuries repair, aches and pains go away, and a lot of that.
Your body stops and goes, I'm going to stop all this metabolizing of shit, and I'm going to fix stuff. I'm going to repair stuff.
Yep.
And that's when your brain starts to fire. And
I
do a 48-hour fast, and I hate breaking it. I mean, I break it because I'm hungry as hell.
Yeah.
But
mentally you feel good.
Right.
Yeah.
I just squirreled again. You said you weren't going to let me do that.
You did.
Squirrel. God damn it. Shiny thing. But the point of that story was, in such a squirrel moment, I didn't even say the point was, people say, oh, you intermittent fast or time-restricted feeding. I said, yeah. For 18 hours, I don't eat. I have a 6-hour eating window. Oh, I could never do that. Why not? Because I'm starving. I'd be starving by the time I ate. Yep, you would. You're supposed to be.
Right. But also
don't
because
eat until you're hungry.
But because of the things that they're feeding their bodies too, that contributes to that. Because when I'm eating the high satiety per calorie,
for sure. Yep. Absolutely.
Things I'm not.
Yep.
I'm hungry by the time my 23 hours is up, but I'm not ravenous. Like before, when I was eating the standard American diet, I would be ravenous at breakfast, even though I had eaten all night.
Absolutely.
And snacked right up till bedtime, like midnight.
And another thing there that along with the satiety thing is you're stretching your stomach.
Oh, yeah.
And there's certain hunger receptors, and you're triggering that because when the stomach starts shrinking, that's telling your brain, hey, we're hungry, dummy.
Just pure physically stretching out of the amount of food volume going in.
Right. It makes you feel hungry.
Exactly.
But you'd be different on OMAD if you hang out with me for a little while and we check out on the treadmill for an hour.
Oh, yeah.
Lift weights.
I'd probably get hungry.
Right.
Definitely.
And that's okay.
Yep.
It's okay to be hungry.
So satiety per calorie, that's the key to all of this. So you can operate in a caloric deficit, take in the less calories than you're burning, but not be suffering and still getting all the nutrients you want. That's really the key. So stick to the high satiety per calorie foods detailed in the chart. Check out Ted Naiman on Twitter, and we'll put his link in the show notes, of course.
The trick to long-term fat loss is, long-term fat loss is a bit of a misnomer because it's never really that long because eventually you're going to reach your goal.
Right.
So
how do you maintain that leanness is what we're looking for.
And the trick is, obviously, long-term is relative to how much you have to lose. But the point of what I'm trying to say is it's not forever. You're going to reach your goal. You just have to be patient. But along the way, make it as comfortable as you can.
Yeah.
And when you eat foods that are high and that provide you a tremendous amount of satiety, it's going to be comfortable.
Right, because what happens when you're uncomfortable and it's incredibly rough and painful, you've abandoned the diet.
For sure, because it's annoying.
That's why Nutrisystem...
nagging hunger. And
that's why Nutrisystem has repeat customers every year.
They want you to come back.
I'd love to see their database of people have signed up every January 1.
I wonder if they answer the phone and it's like, yeah, this is Josh. I want to cancel my membership. And then they hang up and they're like, yeah, put Josh on hold. He'll be back next Jan 1.
Back. Don't delete his information. Yep. He'll be back. In fact, start auto shipping his stuff January 2.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. All right. So anything else on calories in, calories out? Any other myths you hear out there from the nutrition nuts and the wackadoos?
Nah, just the people. There's a lot of influencers and nutrition folks on the social media that like to overemphasize it. It matters. Huge, small piece of the puzzle.
Exactly. All right. Well, that's calories in, calories out. So I'd like to announce we have a sponsor for the show now. This is kind of cool. This episode is brought to you by Meat. It'll make your dick hard. Buy Meat.
It's testosterone, actually, but whatever.
I kid.
I don't want to get too sciencey. I got criticized for that. There's a lot of people in this world that will hear that and go, what?
That dummy?
Right.
That
too
dummy said some
sciencey?
big words.
Right. He's got an earpiece. Someone's talking to him.
All right, so let's move into our favorite segment of the week, and definitely mine. How fat is Josh? Pretty fat. All right, we're gonna find out what happened this week.
Though, right?
What's that?
Getting less. We'll find out.
We're gonna find out. So let me bring up the tracker here, and Dewey's gonna measure me. And actually, I have.
You should just turn this way so I don't have to.
I have a new weight to report. So watch this. My weight was 187.2 last week.
Holy cow, look at you. 10 pounds.
Boom, I dropped another 3-ish. So I'm 10 pounds down in 13 days.
I haven't even had to resort to cutting your hair yet. That's when things get the lean times. You're just trying to get every ounce you can.
That's right.
All right, why don't you stand up?
All right.
And just face this way, because I figured that out last week, that it's just super clumsy.
Okay, so
I can't see it.
taking all the same measurements every week.
Yep.
Let's take a look-see here. So he's going for the caliper. Ow, you mother pinchy bastard.
Hey, wait, you're just be happy that we're not.
Ow. He's like a freaking lobster over here. Lobster craw. Okay.
Just be happy we're not doing the back of your tricep.
So we're doing the caliper measurement. Check out the body. That'll determine the body fat percentage. See if I've lost anything. I feel like you pinched harder that time. You might have got a bigger fat chunk there. We're going to measure the neck.
That's going to be something else right there.
The necky. I feel like my neck's not going to lose any inches. But we're just for science's sake, we'll check it out.
Oh, that's the centimeters. 16 and a half.
Oh, it did go down a smidgy. All right, here's the big one, baby. Or wait, what are we doing now?
You want to do your waist?
Do the waist. Let's do the waist. Okay, I gotta let it out a little. Try to be relaxed. Same relaxation every week.
Good.
Did you get her?
30. Yeah, let me do it again.
This is all for science, people.
Say stuff into the microphone. It's awkward.
I just like to live in the awkwardness.
38.
Ooh. 38. Another inch, bitches.
38 even. How about those pipes?
You bastard.
Your wife know you have her arms? 13 and a half.
What the hell? I think you're measuring in the wrong place. They
No,
keep getting
that's
smaller
good.
every week.
Dude, that's one of the main places you're going to lose fat.
I'm not going to have the, what do they call them, the bingo flappers?
The bingo wings.
You got to do my thigh, though.
I dread that part.
Get in here, big boy.
That's awkward. By next week, I'm going to be doing your knee. 22.
22. All right, that's the same.
Ow!
All right, so give me that.
Damn it.
Don't hurt yourself.
That hurt.
All right, so give me that caliper measurement.
Yeah, that's going to be quite the change. 19.5. Or wait, no. Don't.
Yeah, you gotta put it into your
We got to look it up.
chart calculator
Yeah,
grid
that's
thing.
That's the measurement. Sorry.
Well, he does that. I'm going to talk about what I did this week.
You're what, 55?
I just look at.
Okay.
By the way, put some comments in the YouTube comments. Can you tell? Do I look skinnier in the face at all?
30.1.
Oh, shit, yeah. Okay, so.
You're just doing a bunch of side crunches every day. Just on that one side, too.
Wow, that's a misnomer, right? You can't
Can't spot reduce.
just go, I'm going to just twist and turn and hold the 5-pound weight and do twisties, and my love handles are going to go away.
People have been asking, I just need to trim up my waist and then lose fat everywhere. That's how it works. You can't spot reduce.
You can't spot reduce, right? So the only way to get rid of your love handles in your gut is you got to reduce the amount of fat in your body. You got to be leaner. So it's been 13 days since I started this. 10 pounds down, 3.5 inches lost in the waist total, body fat percentage change, 2.7 down.
And because you're in a caloric deficit and you're comfortable.
Yep. And I'll tell you what I did this week. Okay. I measure my weight every morning. Here's a little tip. When you get up, go to the bathroom, whatever, measure your weight. If you're tracking your weight, same time every day. So I get up, go to the bathroom, weigh myself.
You do it every day?
Every day. Just to track. Just so I know.
Okay. Yep.
I'm not that concerned about it, but I didn't drop for 4 days. And you know what I changed? I did two things. I was having coffee with cream every morning.
Yeah.
A big one, like the biggest Yeti that it takes 2 hands to hold it.
Oh, okay.
For you. Yeah, I have to have a backpack just to carry it to work in.
Right.
This thing's a monster, right? I think they call it the keg or something, but it doesn't even fit in your car. You have to get a car seat for it.
I thought you made coffee. Oh, I did.
Yeah. So I was having that with a bunch of heavy cream in it every day, and I was stalled. I was like, fuck, Dewey's going to shit on me if I don't drop. So I cut that out, and then I immediately started dropping again. So I dropped solid for the next 3 days. I think that's the reason why I'm only down 3 pounds this week. I think if I would have dropped that sooner, I would have kept on losing. I think that was a lot of calories.
For sure. Yep.
That heavy cream, even though it's good fats.
Unbelievable calories.
Good fats, but it's really, if you're trying to operate in a caloric deficit, that's one of the things that might have to go
when you look
bye-bye.
at it, it's like calories per serving, 280. Oh, that ain't too bad. Serving size. 1 thimble. It's like, oh, son of a bitch.
No, I was having, I don't know how much, probably a good cup or, a good cup into my giant Yeti thing
Just
of coffee.
switch to half and half. Half and half. It's cheaper. It's 1 gram of carb instead of 0.
And for those of you,
far less calories.
I'm in my eating window right now, so lay off. It's supper time.
It's not the kegerator.
It's not the So I did that, and I also did a 48-hour fast.
Ugh,
I skipped
wonderful.
1 day.
Love fast.
So, but I did have the coffee and cream, up until then, and then I did all right, I need to break this
I did
plateau.
a 48-hour fast and lost 13.5 pounds.
Holy shit. So, and then I kept, that kind of reset me, and I kept dropping. And the thing was, I felt great, 47 hours into it.
Sure.
I mean, I was definitely hungry, but I was operating, felt like my brain was a computer. I was operating at a high level mentally. It's weird how the brain fog lifts when you're in the middle of a fast.
Dude,
and
it's like,
remember we're talking about meat meth?
Right.
Meat meth, I mean, that's exaggerated when you fast.
Right.
At least for me.
When I, at like 46 to 48, I'm like George Costanza when he gives up sex. He's like doing a Rubik's Cube and answering all the Jeopardy questions.
Exactly.
Boom, boom.
Turns into a genius, yeah.
And then as soon as I eat, it's take me to your leader.
There's some definite truth to that, and I don't even begin to understand the mechanisms behind that, but all I know is it's very true. So that's my total so far. We're going to track this every week. Talk about my exercise too. I'm now up to 35 push-ups.
Unbroken?
Yep, unbroken. That's to failure every morning.
Not fruitarian push-ups.
Not fruitarian push-ups. Okay. These are legit man push-ups. Yep. My dick hits the ground first, but that's always the case.
So you're going to deficit.
So I also, while I'm sitting in my cubicle, I've been doing lots of Kegels. Which is important.
Like Cardi B.
And I did hear, I was listening to Paul Saladino, and he was talking about how he's really into sprinting now. Mm-hmm. And rather than just running for, 10 miles or whatever, he finds that the sprinting and the high intensity is really the key factor.
Yep.
As opposed to like runners who just run for 20 miles a day or whatever. He just sprints.
Do both.
Right. And so I also started the total ghetto version of that in my basement, which is just high stepping.
Oh, please video that. Please put that on video for next week.
But dude,
your Richard Simmons bandana.
You want to find out what kind of shape you're in? Just do some aggressive high stepping for about a minute. Most people are not going to be able to even do that.
No way.
I barely could.
It's like burpees.
Oh my God.
Burpees as fast as you can.
But it was like -8 this morning when I got into my car, and I was hot.
Really?
Because I had done that, right before I got in the shower, I did my push-ups, did my high stepping, and I was like driving to work like, oh, it's not even cold.
Do you cold showers?
No, just regular, but it was amazing how the body temperature was.
Oh, for sure.
I was completely comfortable in that. Even when it was below zero, I was completely fine. And, so that's a good tip to stay warm on your drive to work is do some of that high stepping and push-ups right before you go to work. All right, so we're going to track that every week, but I think I'm doing pretty damn good. What do you think?
Yeah, you're crushing it.
Huh? Come on now. So, and this is nothing crazy. All I'm doing is eating some meat once a day. That's it.
Are you tracking calories? Do you know what your intake is?
No, I'm not, because back to the calories in, calories out. I'm not tracking my calories because
the scale's going in the right way.
The scale's going in the right way.
Yeah.
And the satiety per calorie is so high, it'd be very hard to overeat.
So you bring up a good point. So I wonder if
much harder.
Wonder if you started tracking and you saw that number in the tracker and you were like, shit, I've only had 900 calories today. And then all of a sudden, that placebo effect that starts playing a mind trick on you. And you're like, now I'm hungry.
I don't know. For me, and I'm such a binary person. Like I'm either all or nothing. So for me, that's why I don't think I'd be good.
Like that.
I wouldn't be good on the 16-8 because I have my window. I eat my medicine, my fuel, which I love, by the way. It tastes great. It's awesome. And there's a whole scarcity component here too, which makes the food taste that much better because you're not just mindlessly stuffing yourself with it all day.
Right.
I mean, you want food to taste good. Don't eat for a day. Eat once a day, and that food is going to taste amazing, and it's super satisfying mentally and physically. That's huge. So I eat my food, and then I'm done, and that keeps me almost impossible to stuff myself in that hour to the point where I could overeat my goal.
For our tens of listeners,
dozens,
I do not recommend anything over 48 without doctor supervision
for fasting.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
There's some, the main three electrolytes, potassium, sodium, and magnesium are super, super important.
Right.
And that's what gets depleted. So you've got to make sure you're up on that.
And that's why people might faint.
Yeah. And there's things you got to do if you ever plan on going more than 48 hours.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong. Once you speak with your doctor, I will guarantee, just short of guarantee you, that your doctor will give you the green light.
What's the longest you've ever fasted?
A little over 48, like minutes over 48.
I did 72 once.
Holy shit.
But at the end of that, I was starting to almost hallucinate. Like I was so, not like in a bad way. I was almost like in another plane. I've never drank. I've never done any drugs, but I was there a little bit. I was a little bit elevated.
My nutrition coach went 5 days.
5 days. Holy shit.
Yeah.
And, again, fasting, don't do it unless you have some excess body fat, because if you're already super lean, then your body's going to start devouring that muscle mass, and you don't want that.
He's like probably 8-9% body fat.
And he went 5 days?
Yep. Didn't lose an ounce.
So
worked out the entire time.
So what was the reason for him doing it? Wasn't he worried about losing muscle mass?
No, experiment.
Okay.
He likes trial and error like I do.
Wow.
But he's going to be my trial for the 5 days. What is that, 120? That's a long time.
Holy shit. All right, so that ends this week's segment of How Fat is Josh? Pretty fat.
I forgot about that part.
You were going to talk about your knee.
Oh, yeah, we got time?
Oh, yeah.
How are we sitting?
We're doing good.
All right.
We're at 50 minutes.
Oh, we got an hour.
Everybody stop listening by now, so go ahead and tell us whatever.
Just friends and family are hanging on, going, God, he's an idiot. So, yeah, get this. I've been having problems with my knee.
Like when you're running, it aches or what?
Well, not to give a little bit of a background, but 13 years ago, 15 years ago, I dislocated my kneecap for the second time. So I rehabbed and started playing softball and doing some activities again, but I was heavy back then.
Right.
I mean, I was 50 pounds ago. And
Well, another reason to lose weight, by the way, think of the stress on your joints.
Google that sometime. The pressure on your joints per pound.
Oh my God.
That'll get you on the right path.
Yep.
Anyways, so the doctor, I went in one day and I said, I got problems in my kneecap, and something will catch and I'll feel it, and I'll like relax my leg and I'll move my kneecap around and I can feel something moving, and I can move it out of the way, and then it doesn't hurt anymore. And he went, "You're nuts. Let's do an X-ray." He comes back in.
You were bullshitting him?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like, you probably just feel like that. You'd probably just think that's something in there. So he comes back in after looking at the X-ray and he goes, "You got bone chips in there."
Oh shit.
And he goes, "That might be one of the most astute things I've ever had somebody pick up on."
That you actually noticed? Most people would notice
Right.
that?
Yep.
Okay.
My wife said he's just a hypochondriac, and he's bound to be right once in a while. And so, anyways, that knee has been meh.
Right.
If I run a half marathon, it swells up a little bit, causing me some pain. But it's been real achy since I started really running this last summer. And I pop in a leave, stretch out, take the next day off, I'm on my way. Well, I made an appointment to go visit him today. And I'm like, "Doc, it's not killing me. On a scale of 1 to 10, it goes from a 0 to 7, some at the worst. And then the next day it's back to 0.
Right.
So it doesn't linger.
Only triggered by long runs?
Running or
How about like squatting and
squatting,
things like that?
if I do lots of real quad dominant movements,
Okay.
which are if I'm dropping forward into my quads instead of back into my ass, like if I squat or front squat,
Yep.
and I do it wrong, then it bothers my knee. Lunges bother it, but it doesn't hurt it. So it's doctor's visit is luxury.
Right.
It's not. I'm not here because of quality of life. I just want to run a half marathon in 1:55 and probably do an Olympic triathlon this summer,
Okay.
which is 6 miles, 6.1 miles, 10K. Not a big deal. But I just need to know. I just went in because I needed to get validation from him that I can just run through this.
Like it's not going to cause further chronic,
Yes. Yep.
irreparable damage.
Yep. I just want to know that I can just go piss on it and run through it, grit my teeth and push
Yeah,
through
you can
it.
tolerate the pain, but
Yeah.
you don't want to do further damage.
Right, right. I'm a Vikings fan. I can handle the pain. So he says, "We got good news and bad news." I said, "Well, what's the diagnosis, doc? Just cut the shit." He said, "Well, the good news is you have very, very minimal degradation of the cartilage since we sculpted."
Okay.
And that was what, in my 20s?
Right.
So I said, "Well, that's great news. What's the bad news?" He goes, "You're 47. He said, there's no cure. There's no medicine. There's no surgery. I could give you steroid shots. We could come in every 6 months and give you a steroid shot that'll help. But Aleve will probably do the same thing." So, yeah, that's the diagnosis. I'm 47.
You've been diagnosed
One thing
with
I
47.
didn't like, and I've heard these stories before, but I've never heard of it out of a doctor's mouth, is he said, "You got 30 years until a full knee replacement." He said 15 if you keep doing CrossFit.
You said from now? So you can do CrossFit till you're 70? 70? Wait, no, 15. So you
15,
can. Oh, okay, so
yeah.
you can go till you're 60.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
That's not horrible though.
no, I don't believe him. But
You think it's going to go sooner?
no, I don't think CrossFit hurts it.
Oh,
I
gotcha.
think poor form hurts it.
Well, right. So what's your plan then for running these marathons? Just pop the Aleve and power through?
Yeah, there's some stretches he gave me and some strengthening stuff that you can do to alleviate it, but it's just being mindful. He said, and then he goes, "Well, because your strength," he goes, "Look at you, you're not going to get any stronger." And I went, "Challenge accepted." My ass. And he goes, "So you have no tracking issues. Your quad is pulling your patella in the right direction. Everything's tracking perfectly." I said,
Right.
"Well, you haven't seen me squat yet." He's like, "I don't need to." I'm like, "Okay, we can argue about that later." You don't know if I have tracking issues or not. But no, all in all, that was a good visit.
Right.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, when he showed me the x-rays from 13 years ago to today, I was really pleased with what I saw. It's less, but
you've been working out and
beat the
running
hell out of
aggressively.
myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean,
he goes, official doctor answer, stop squatting, stop running. Quit squatting.
but he knows you're not going to do that.
He goes, start leg pressing, stop squatting, stop lunging, stop running, start biking. And he said, unofficial, give her hell. I said,
Nice.
all right,
All right.
good enough for me.
And related information on that. One thing I've noticed when I go carnivore, OMAD, the combination of those, and just get rid of all the carbs and the things that were causing inflammation for me, I have like 0 aches or pains.
I have full disclosure. I'm full-blown ketosis, sorry. And I'm so deep right now that I shared on my social media, on my Facebook page, that I'm so deep right now that I had 98 grams of carbs and I was still in ketosis.
Yeah.
That's legit. But I am super weak in the gym.
You're not Joe Cubicle either.
Right. But I am super weak in the gym.
Really?
Yep. Yeah.
Because of being in ketosis, you think?
No, from no carbs.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. That there's no question that if I start timing, which is pivotal, if I start timing my fast absorbing carbs to feel those lifting sessions,
Right.
that strength will bounce right back.
Now, Joe Cubicle, ignore what he just said. Because if you're sitting in a cubicle and you're not lifting heavy shit all the time, you can't do that.
Come work out with me, then we'll talk about it.
This is not an excuse to go to that break room where that Sandy's Donuts box is sitting there. And
Did the elliptical list yesterday, 15 minutes.
this is not your excuse.
Never stopped.
To grab 6 of those, right? This is for a guy that lifts. So me as Joe Cubicle, I hear that and I go, that's nice. One ear out the other, because I can't use that as a trigger.
And not
or
only
as an excuse.
am I benching 360 pounds, I'm not. I'm still not eating the donut.
And it only takes him eight reps to get up to the 360. 8 reps,
Right. Yep.
12 reps of 30.
Right. But yeah,
That's a lot.
But seriously, I'm not. Well, 365. If we're getting technical.
Wow, sassy.
But I'm still not eating that fucking donut.
Right.
I'm still eating fruit.
Right.
Fast absorbing carbs that are good for you with a shit ton of fiber. Because what is fiber, according to Neiman?
Yeah, and not combined with the fat.
Right.
Carbs and fat.
Right.
Like a donut. That's why donut is the best yet worst thing ever.
French fries,
Oh, God.
carbs and fat.
Exactly. All right, well, we squirreled all over hell on this. On this
You know
one.
what? Those people can kick rocks. I like squirreling.
So,
I wore a
to sum it all up,
Or a Carhartt hat today.
what do you call it? CICO?
CICO.
Calories in, calories out. That's some bullshit. You got to know what you're talking about. You got to know how to do it successfully, how to do it optimally. And to summarize again, I'm a little less fat.
I had somebody today say, "Oh, Carhartt hats, those are cool now." And I said, and she goes, "I wear one." I said, "Yeah, but the difference is I wear Carhartt because it's cold out. You wear because of cold play." She didn't laugh like you did.
See, I'm so out of touch. I didn't even know that that's a thing.
I didn't either.
Is that a hipster thing now to wear the Carhartts?
I guess.
Hats?
We used to get made fun of when we were kids for wearing Carhartts and Rustlers.
My mom used to buy jeans at a place called, I think it was called Archie's. Remember that?
No, I'm not from here.
But it was out in Dilworth. All you people listening from afar, you have no idea what we're talking about. But these jeans were so starchy and stiff they could stand up on their own.
Oh, those are Rustlers.
Yeah. But the good thing was when you get your ass beat by the school bullies, it didn't hurt as bad because they were a nice thick layer of protection.
Mom used to say you can have 6, 7 pairs of Rustlers or 1 pair of Gerbos. And I said, I'll do laundry.
Gerbos. Oh, my God. I haven't heard that name in forever. All right, guys. So that's going to wrap it up for today. So remember, send us questions.
Yes.
We got an email address.
More and more questions.
Yes, info@fitandfurious.com. That's our email address. Leave some YouTube comments. Am I getting any skinnier? Do I look better? Svelte? I want somebody to use the word svelte on me just once in my life.
Spell check, though. I'm going to tease a guest
Okay.
because we're going to have a guest on coming up pretty soon.
Well, I suggest you probably shouldn't tease the guests.
Tease the audience. That was forced. No, but my good friend Carlos Miranda is a cardiologist at Stanford. And we're going to talk blood panels and lipids and familial stuff.
Would he be willing to be vampire and slurp some blood out of me?
Oh, I'd have to ask. Maybe. I'll ask him. But he's going to talk about...
Or maybe in advance and then have him see where I'm at.
Yep. And the main reason we're going to have him on is because, and that's the lead-in, you teased it, and I remembered, is Trent Dawson asked a question on YouTube about blood panels, and Carlos is going to answer those questions.
Yeah, what do they mean? And that's one area.
Which one's to get?
Yeah, I didn't even know.
Testosterone.
I know nothing.
Change your life.
Can
Get
they tell you that on a blood thing? Your
Yeah.
testosterone level?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's expensive. Insurance doesn't cover it, but
So you don't have to,
it's the most important. No.
into a cup?
Dude, it's blood.
Okay.
What did you do? What are you doing with that?
I just like to give them options.
You're like,
Here, just test everything.
I thought it was weird there wasn't any magazines in there.
Just test everything, dude.
I had my phone.
All right, guys.
We'll end on that.
We'll end on that. So make sure you hit us up on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We want some comments, like, share, give us a 5-star review. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, then just stay silent, please. But
Still subscribe.
Still subscribe. That's right. Sometimes you want to hate subscribe. Don't you? Do you hate subscribe to anything? Like people you hate?
No.
I hate subscribe to a few vegan accounts just because it's kind of silly to watch them.
I don't because my blood pressure goes up. So I stay away.
All right, guys. We will see you next week.
Bye-bye.